Hey everybody, I'm Becky Adams. Thanks for stopping by the Bella Boulevard blog and YouTube channel today. Today I have a bright, colorful layout that we're going to put together using the Make Your Mark collection. And I've got a few supplies from the Make Your Mark collection here to kind of start things off. I'm going to be using one 4x6 photo that I have printed in black and white on this layout, and I'll be using several products from the Make Your Mark collection. I'm going to start off with two pattern papers, and I've only used two pattern papers on this layout, which is a little unusual for me. Usually I mix in quite a few more pattern papers, but these patterns have a lot of color in them already, and I really fell in love with these florals. So what I did to get started, and a lot of you won't be surprised by this because I use this technique very often, and that is that I fussy cut. And I fussy cut around most of the flowers in this paper, and then I used some this card from the cut apart sheet. And what I did just to kind of speed things up was to just fussy cut those ahead of time. I did use, there are two sheets of each of the patterns in the Make Your Mark collection in the collection kit. So I had two of those sheets anyway, and I knew that I wanted to fussy cut one of them, so I just went ahead and did that. The first thing that I'm going to do is to sprinkle a little bit of gold ink on a couple of spots on my page. If you'll notice, in the Make Your Mark collection, there's a lot of gold foil, and so I thought that I'd bring in a little bit more gold with some spray ink. I'm going to add a little bit more color to the background with a few drops, not as much as the gold, but just a few drops of teal ink, and that's going to pick up on the teal that you'll find in the center and around the edges of some of these florals. And then I'm going to set this aside to dry for a minute. Set my paper towels aside there and use them on another project. And I'm going to work on the background, or the layers to go behind my photo. So as I mentioned, I'm using one of the 4x6 cut aparts. And this is the one that I've used, and I cut it out, and then I cut the sentiment portion out, and now I have just these two strips. So I'm just adhering these teal strips that I cut earlier, and I'm just putting them just behind this gold striped clear cut. This came from the 6x8 gold foiled clear cut paper pad. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere my photo here to the layers that I've created. So I've got just a couple of things that I want to stick, kind of weave into these layers, I guess. I've got this designer clip that I'm just going to tuck right in there. I don't want it on top of my photo, so I'm just going to tuck it right under my photo, but on top of that pink layer. And then I've got this happy sticker that comes from the Fundamental sticker sheet, and I'm just going to go ahead and tuck that right there behind that clip, and just make sure that you can read the sentiment. I want to pop my photo up with some foam adhesive. So I've just got some white fun foam. And I'm gonna just put a couple of pieces here along the back side of my photo of my photos and the layers. And I'm just gonna go ahead and use my tape runner adhesive to adhere all of these layers together. Okay, and I'm thinking the placement will be about right there. I want to make sure that I've left enough room for my title and my journaling. Okay, so we'll just carefully adhere my photo. And then for the title of this layout, I'm using the You and Me portion. Once again, from this 4x6 journaling card. I just went ahead and fussy cut the letters. And I'm going to adhere them just down here below the photo. Okay. So when I have kind of more delicate title or die cuts, I just like to use a dot runner adhesive and lay it onto some scratch paper and then just place the dot runner adhesive carefully onto the back of the die. That way I leave the extra adhesive on my scratch paper instead of on my project. The next thing I'm going to put in place is my journaling. And I have some journaling strips that I have printed just on my home printer. I have left them, I cut them with my paper trimmer, but I left this, I guess the beginning of each strip attached. So that will just make it a little bit easier when I am trying to keep the strips in order. I also will sometimes cut them completely apart and put them on a bit of wax paper. But this is a good way, either way works, and it honestly just depends on how I'm putting things together, on which method I use. I'm adhering my strips from the bottom up because I want them to be as close as I can get them to my photo. And I like to stagger my journaling strips so that they don't all start and end at the same spot. That's not always possible with the way the layout comes together. But when I have the option, I do like to stagger them. It leaves, I guess it just gives the layout a little bit more interest. And then I want to make sure and get the date onto my layout. And so I'm using just the Illustrated Faith date stamp and ink pad. I want to add just a few of these puffy stickers just for a little bit of dimension. Everything's feeling a little bit flat to me right now, so we're just gonna tuck a few of these flower stickers in just right on top of the floral clusters that I've already created with the fussy cut pattern paper. Okay, now that we have those puffy stickers in place, I think we're just about finished. I wanted to add just a couple more drops of of ink because I did cover some up with my journaling strips up here. So I'm just gonna drop a few more drops of ink up here in this corner. Okay, and with those few drops of ink, I think we will call this one finished. So thank you again for stopping by the Bella Boulevard blog and YouTube channel. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Thanks again for stopping by. We'll see you again soon.